Warm greetings from the High 10. It is Everyday Shenanigans. Thanks for joining me. I've got a three-part update. One story is a story I've covered uh, since the beginning, and that was the trial of Derek Chauvin, who's accused of violating the rights of Mr. George Floyd, murder of George Floyd. And there is a new update pertaining to the releasing of the names of the jurors. And I also will be bringing you commentary pertaining to Dr. Dre and a story out of Georgia pertaining to a small child that was set adrift in a boat that landed on an island in Georgia. So that's the set information for this evening. Thank you all so much for joining me. I'm going to go ahead and get started with my first information. Yahoo News is the source. Media attorney, it's time to release names of Chauvin jurors. I do believe this is the AP if you need a source. File. In this June 25th, 21 file image, it does show a picture of Mr. Chauvin, the judge. If you need verification for the said information, it says in a court filing Wednesday, August 4th, 2021, the coalition said the court's desire to protect jurors from unwanted publicity is not grounds to keep their identities sealed under law. Chauvin was found guilty of murder and manslaughter and was sentenced to 22 and a half years. And this picture is via Court TV, AP, pool, and file. I'm going to see what else I can bring you. It says a coalition of news media outlets, including the Associated Press, is asking the judge who oversaw the trial of Chauvin to release the identities of jurors who convicted him in the death of George Floyd. I'm going to go ahead and read the article. Okay, a coalition of news media outlets asked the judge who oversaw the trial of jurors who convicted him in the death of jurors that weren't keeping their names guilty of murder and manslaughter in April and was sentenced to 22 and a half years. Attorneys for the coalition asked Judge Peter Cahill in a court filing Wednesday to immediately unseal the identities of the jurors as well as the prospective juror lists, juror profiles, questionnaires, and unredacted juror forms. Cahill kept the jurors' identities secret but said he would make their names public when he deemed it safe. Attorney Lita Walker said the media and public have a right to information about a jury. She acknowledged this case was high profile, but said anonymous juries are rare and only allowed in exceptional circumstances, such as in cases involving gangs or organized crime. Walker wrote that Chauvin's trial is there is no way the jurors' fears of intimidation, harassment, or violence can unfairly their deliberations. She also wrote that the coalition knows of no threat to any juror or prospective juror, noting that 2 jurors and an alternate have already come forward. She said the court's desire to protect jurors from unwanted publicity or harassment are not grounds to keep their identities sealed under law. She said the media don't minimize the unrest that followed Floyd's death. However, she said, much has changed in the months since the jury rendered its verdict, and at this juncture, resistance to releasing their names appears based on little more than a desire to have them left alone. That's not enough. It is not clear when Cahill will rule on the request. Names of jurors and other data such as questionnaires normally become public soon after trials end in Minnesota. In her filing Wednesday, Walker noted that Chauvin and the 3 other officers involved in Floyd's arrest, Jay Queen, Thomas Lane, and Two Tail, are due to be arraigned on federal charges in September, and that Lane, Queen, and Tail face state trial in March. Police officer Kimberly Potter is scheduled to go to trial in December in the fatal shooting of Dante Wright. Those trials and others will inevitably provide public, Walker wrote. Thus, the time to build confidence in the judicial system, the time to learn from Chauvin's juror is now, she wrote. Yahoo News, top of the source.com. If you need verification for the story, hello, Flouncy, how are you? I've got 3 viewing. Not many, but that's fine. Anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and give my commentary after each article. Makes it easier than trying to remember everything after reading all the said information. My thing is this. No one can speak on who is safe and not safe we have a lot of unstable people walking around this country and abroad. So no one can speak on the safety of another human being. That is your assumption that it's a few months down the road, a few people have come forward that were jurors, so everybody else is all right. Well, a person does have the right to privacy. And we understand that names have been released in the past, but that has nothing to do with what can transpire thereafter. And I think if a person says he or she doesn't want their name mentioned, then I think a person should honor their right. Because some people just may want to move on from it. Maybe they don't want to discuss the trial. Maybe they don't want to discuss their emotions. Maybe they don't want to discuss who testified, what they said, what they had on, what they looked like, what the judge looked like, what the bailiff looked like, how they were feeling. Do you understand? Maybe they don't want the scrutiny. Because once a person comes forward or their name is revealed, let's say their name's revealed without their permission. Now they've got all these people wanting to ask them questions. Pookie, Ray Ray, Shamika, Billy Bob, and maybe they don't want to talk about it. Maybe they don't want to share. And I get it. People are curious. The news wants to know who they are, where they are, what they look like, their height, their race, what they do for a living. But we already know that once the names are released, it's just like social media, people will start prodding, looking for stuff, looking for them on Facebook, going in their DMs. See, that's what people don't seem to understand. Those that's always wanting stuff to get out, to be made public. But once their names are released, people are going to be in their DMs, asking them stuff, saying stuff, then before you know it, somebody might start bringing up stuff about their life, their past, that was not revealed while being a juror, before being picked as a juror, afterwards being a juror. You see my drift? Because that is exactly what will happen. Somebody will start a digging and bringing up something about their life and what they're doing and what they did yesterday and 5 years ago and da 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 da. And oh, they was committed this and they did this and they know somebody that did this. That's exactly what will happen, because no one has any privacy today. Everybody wants to know what you're doing, where you're going, how you got this, how you're living, how you can afford this, how much money's in your bank account, in your pocket, in your sock. It's just the way it is. And if these people don't want their names released, I don't think they should be released. And I think the judge should ask each member that has remained silent if you would like for your name to be released. That's my said commentary on that. And as they said, the other participants in this said the death of George Floyd, those goons will be going to trial next spring. Okay. So much to talk about. Mercy, mercy me. Thank you all for joining me. My information desk is acting up. Hold on one second. Hello, hello. My neighbor's like that. I avoid her at all costs. Yes, there's just some people like that. They have to know everything. They want to be in your face. They got to know. I know I've lived it my entire life as an adult. I've been on my own since I was 21. I believe it's 21. And I've noticed that with people. I've noticed that here in the South, people, are very different here than most parts of the world. But then maybe not, because with social media now, everybody likes to talk and tell the business. But here in the South, people are more friendly. They talk to you, they tell you their problems, they like to crack jokes, they want to be in your face all the time, they got to know what you're doing, but that can get you hurt because everybody doesn't live like that. Everybody doesn't live by that code, telling everything, revealing everything, crying and moaning, venting, whatever, however you want to word it. And it can be very annoying. Hello, Tori, how you doing? It can be very annoying. And everybody is not the same. Some people are recluse, some people are quiet, people are shy. So they don't like you asking them personal questions as soon as you speak to them or see them. And frankly, it's rude. And I don't like minds think alike. But I don't think going up to strangers, asking them personal questions is appropriate. Just like if you see somebody moving into the building, why do you need to ask them where they come from? Can they get their stuff in the place first? Maybe they like to put their belongings in the door. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's just sometimes you have to know when to stay in your lane, know when to be quiet. A lot of people haven't learned that yet. They still haven't learned it. I mean, you have old fools out there, come on. Just the way the world is designed. Some people don't know how to stay in their lane. And I'm telling you, you open Pandora's box to these names of these people, who knows where that can go? Because you have people out here who are so addicted to social media, they want to know everything, who did what, why, where. And some of these people probably won't get any rest once their names, open to the public. It's just the way it is. Thank you for joining me. I was trying to let this article load up. It's taking its time about coming up. So, okay. Thank you all so much for joining me. I'm going to read you something from Newsweek.com. This is pertaining to Dr. Dre. Yeah, it can be annoying. I don't like telling people too much because I've learned in this life, the little things you tell, the big things you tell can hurt you in the end, because people will take those things and use them against you, even in good faith. They'll say, or if they turn against you, or you do something they don't like, or you decide one day you don't want to be bothered, they take the very thing you told them and use it against you. That's why you have to learn to keep your mouth closed. Don't tell people everything about you, your business, where you live, your full name, your mama's name. All that's not necessary. Just speak and keep it going. Okay. Well, you won't love Dr. Dre after this. Newsweek is the source. Dr. Dre has net worth of $800 million as daughter reveals she's homeless. Dr. Dre's eldest daughter has revealed that she is homeless and living out of a rental car amid claims that the hip-hop legend is refusing to support her. LaTanya Young, 38, told the Daily Mail that she works as a delivery driver for DoorDash and Uber Eats, as well as an assembler at a warehouse, but still can't afford an apartment in California. Young, a single mother of 4, said she had reached out to her famous father for help, but had not received any money from him in 18 months. She added that she hadn't seen her dad in 18 years and communicated with him through his team. Wow, that's deep. My kids are staying with friends. They are not living in the car. It's just me, Young said. I'm taking odd jobs just to make it now. I got paid $15 an hour as an assembler at the warehouse. I'm trying to keep my head above water. I've been in debt for a while, quote unquote. Young, who moved to California 1 month ago after struggling to find work in Nevada, now fears she will lose her vehicle. The car is a pretty penny, she said. It's an SUV that cost $2,300 for 3 weeks, and I only paid for 1 week. Sooner or later, they're going to take the car. The wage is higher in California. If there was no work in Nevada, she added, work enough jobs. I have friends and family that will let us come back and forth, but the majority of the time, I'm living out of my car. Young, whose father split from her mother, Lisa Johnson, when she was 5 years old, said Dr. Dre's lawyer had told her that she would not receive any financial help because she had spoken to the press about him in the past. Newsweek has contacted a representative for Dr. Dre for comment. His daughter's interview has shown the net worth of the rapper, producer, and entrepreneur, which was valued at $800 million by Forbes in 2019. And inside this article, you will see Dr. Dre attending a film screening at the Ritzy Picture House in London on March 15, 2018. That is to set information. Dr. Dre, real name, Andre Young, is one of the most influential musicians the past 35 years, making a string of rap hits with NWA and as a solo artist. The 56-year-old was co-founder of Death Row Records and later set up Aftermath Entertainment. Wow, I didn't know he was that old. 56. That seems really older. I thought he was near my age. Excuse me. His venture into the headphones business with Beats by Dr. Dre, which he set up with Jimmy Iovine, made him one of the richest men in the music industry. The company was snapped up by Apple for $3 billion in 2014, and Dr. Dre pocketed $585 million before taxes, according to Forbes. As well as earning colossal amounts of money, Dre has also made headlines for spending it. He snapped up Tom Brady and Gisele Bündchen's former home in Brentwood, California for $40 2014, per the Los Angeles Times. Dre and Levine also donated $70 million to the University of Southern California in 2013. The father of 8 was recently ordered to pay his ex-wife Nicole Young $300,000 a month in spousal support. The court order states that Dre, who reportedly suffered a brain aneurysm in January, will have to pay support until the party receiving support remarries, or enters into a new domestic partnership, or the death of either party. There's also a picture of Mr. Dre and Nicole Young attending a City of Hope gala in October 11th, 2018. And it also states, once again, he has to pay this lady $300,000 for spousal support until one of them dies or one of them remarries. The said information is by Newsweek.com. Going to recap what I just wrote you for those coming into the chat. Thank you all so much for joining me. As I said, age, I kind of thought he was in my age bracket, 50ish age range. He's been in the business 35 years or so. He's worth $800 million in 2019. He has an older daughter who is homeless, living out of her car in California, moved from Nevada. Her children are not staying in the car. Allegedly, she's going back and forth from person's house to person's house. And and he and I believe it says she's only making $15 an hour as an assembler. This is just, what do you mean you can't understand me? Oh God, are we back to this again? I don't. Hello? It's only when I'm going live now. It seems so strange. Hello, can anyone hear me? Well, someone said it earlier about the audio. I don't know what's going on because I can see my emblem moving, which means my voice is pinging into the microphone. Well, maybe I had the phone pulled back too far. I didn't think I needed that to have it that close. Either way, as I state, to recap, she's making $15 an hour as an assembler. She's in a rental car that's amassed $2,300 in 3 weeks. The children are staying with somebody else between friends. She hasn't seen her father in 18 years. It's been 18 months since he gave her money. She has to reach him through a team. As I state, I do not know what is going on with Dr. Dre and his daughter. Let me say that for the record before I give my commentary. But nonetheless, I think the fact that he has 8 children, he should have set up a trust fund for all of his children. That way, his children, once they turn 18, 21, 25, whatever the number, they would have access to funds for themselves. And naturally, he's had to pay child support to all these mothers. This article doesn't state how many baby mothers he has, but what I think is so trifling, hey, no trust fund for the children that I know of. Don't know all the details of his finances. He never married any of the baby mothers that I know of. Michelle A was in a movie recently with a documentary about her life, movie about her life, Suge Knight and Dr. Dre. It shows her life with them growing up, how she got in the music business, came to fame. I didn't even know that she had a child with by Suge Knight. Hell, I didn't even know she dated Dr. Dre. That was something I found interesting. I didn't even know they had children, nor did I know she had a child by Suge Knight. Now we hear all these horrible stories over the years about Dr. Dre beating her, very abusive to her verbally and physically, everything under the sun, any woman with a pulse. Suge Knight was not the greatest guy in the world. We all had heard the ugly things about Vanilla Ice shaking him over a railing to get the rights to his in not so nice guys Michelle hooked up with, made babies with. So that was an astonishment there, watching that movie about her life with these guys and how she entered the music business. Now we have this information that this man has 8 children. His eldest is this lady, 38, with 4 kids. She hasn't seen him in 18 years. So we have to ask ourselves, what kind of relationship did he have with with the baby's mother of this 38-year-old? Why hadn't he seen his kids in 18 years? Has he had this behavior with his other children? Did he provide for his other children over the years? And we know he's famous. We know he's had to pay these mothers child support for these children. So where did the money go? If indeed he paid child support, did these mothers put anything up for their said children? How old is the youngest child Dr. Dre has? These are all the questions. You don't know. You have no idea about people, who they are. This is what happens when you listen to people's music. You're watching them in movies, plays, documentaries. They write books. They're athletes. You don't know these people. They're random people. You don't know them. And this is atrocious to me because you see he has a lot of kids. 8 kids is a lot. And as I state, 9 times out of 10, he hasn't married either baby mother. And if he has, you still can't explain 8 children. And I think we know that all 8 are not by the same woman. We know Michelle A is one on her own. And this lady here that he just divorced, I do not know if she has children with Dr. Dre or not, but he's paying her now $300,000 a month for spousal support. And it didn't say child support, it said spousal. So that makes me think naturally they don't have children together. But this is just crazy. Hello, John. How you doing? Good to hear from you. Thank you all in the chat. If you want to donate to the channel, $ Big Angie, Cash App 129. Well, Big Angie 129, Cash App. Thank you so much. Getting a little turned around. Either way, this is crazy, crazy, crazy. This man, wealthy, living in one of the most expensive states in the world, which is California, 8 kids, recently divorced, $300,000 a month to her, worth $800 million, and you can't help your daughter and her kids. And I understand people will use you. They won't work. They won't do anything once they realize they're related to you and they feel like they can gouge you out your pocketbook every day. I get it. Because when you think about a person having 8 kids, that can be very stressful trying to take care of 8 grown-ups or 5, 6 grown-ups, because I don't know how all the children are. But imagine trying to take care of a lot of grown people, your children, your family, your friends, and whether you work 200 million, 300 million, 20 million, the point is you'll always be in your pocketbook giving people money and taking care of them if you don't cut the apron strings. And as I state, he wasn't the best guy growing up in the business and treating Michelle A as she should have been treated. And that leads me to think he probably didn't treat the other women well. And even in the documentary at the end of the movie, he denies ever abusing Michelle A, which I find Jack tripping. So I'm like, you're gonna lie to your own child that you didn't beat their mother? That's how you beat the girl. You were abusive to her even in a company at the studio. So those people, you think they would lie for you? Even now, present day, it's just very sad to me. Hold on one second. I'm gonna take a quick break. Just 1 second, you guys. He was 76 this year. What are you talking about? Oh my God, they never stay on the subject. Jesus. Okay. Sorry about that. I had to check on something. I'm trying to burn my place down. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining me. But anyway, I just think it's atrocious for someone to have all these children. Because I have a thing about a man that has a whole lot of children and not being married to one of the women. I just have a problem with that. I mean, I know somebody that has a lot of children and they never married any of the baby's mothers. And what I have to ask myself is, why would you make a lot of children with a woman and then you don't even marry not one of the women you have a child with? That's odd to me. And a child would wonder that, oh, my dad's got a kid over here and a kid over here. He's not with my mom. He's not with their mom. He's not with this brother's mom. He's not with this sister's mom. Why not? But then you'll go out here and marry some other chick and marry her, and she's got her own brood of kids. That's odd to me. Very odd to me. But I've seen it with my own eyes, and I never can understand it, and I won't understand it. And that's my personal opinion. Like I said, I do not know what went on with this man, but if she said she hadn't seen her father in 18 years, that means she was at least 19, 20 when she last saw her father, which leads me to wonder, what type of relationship did they not have? Because that's a long time not to see your parent, your biological parent. So that leads me to believe, was he in her life or not? Was he in her life up until 18, 19 and just thought, okay, she's grown. I ain't got to take care of her now. I'm done. And as I state, did he give her mother child support? You have to ask that. Did he provide child support to this young lady? And did he give child support to his other remaining children? As I state, I do not know how old his children are. He is 56 years of age, they're stating in this article. So has Dr. Dre done right by his children over the years, taking care of them financially, emotionally, physically? Has he been there? Little league games, taking pictures of them on prom nights, sporting events, to the movies, award shows, something. Has he been a visual in his children's lives? Because as I state, 8 children, that's a lot of kids. And then you factor in that the children all have different mothers or a few mothers. And that means you're rotating from house to house, trying to spend valuable time with your kids. And that's what I'm questioning. Was he an active role model in the lives of his children? I think this is sad. I don't want to jump the gun to seem mean towards him, but the fact that he hadn't seen her in 18 years or so, 20 years, that's a long time. So that leads me to think something's foul. Because why would you not want to be in your child's life, whether they're adult or not? Just because your children get grown doesn't mean you just cut them off totally to where, hell, you don't even see them, you don't speak to them, you don't call them. You just say, hell, you grown, I'm done with you. Whether you raise them or not, or you help provide for them. You're just going to even cut off contact because they're grown. That leads me to think he was never a willing participant in her life. And I think that's sad because she has children. We also have to question her mother. What was the dynamics with her mother and Mr. Dr. Dre? It says he left when she was 5. So that leads me to wonder, how many years was he in the life with the mother and the child since he left when she was 5 years old? Was he with the mother up until 5? Or was it periodic, on and off? What was it? That's the set information. When I get more information, I'll bring you a set update. As you see, I'm bringing you more wicked stories of famous people here as of late, pertaining to famous men, R. Kelly, T.I., just things that's just unsavory and very sad. And I think it's really sad she's been renting a car. So that means she didn't even own a car. And she's already amassed over $2,300 in rental fees. And I don't see how in the world she could still have the car, because by now it would be considered theft, I would think. And they would put out an APB to seize the car. Because if you haven't paid 1 week's worth on the car, then it's considered stolen. So that's another thing. She's basically driving around in a stolen car. And I don't know if that car came from Nevada or California, but it's sad. So then guess what? She gets the car seized. They filed charges against her. Now she's got to go to jail and a criminal record for theft. So how is she going to help take care of her children? then somebody can go call the state and say, oh yeah, she left, we ain't seen her, blah, blah, blah. Now she's got to worry about her kids being taken. See, one thing begets another. And this is what I always tell you all about the belly of the beast. How can anything good come from being in there? Because the best thing to do is try not to crawl your ass in there. And I understand people have problems. We all go through things. Sometimes, as I stated, it could be a jump off. Our response isn't well received. Then we've got ourselves in a dire situation, a bad situation, a horrific situation, and sometimes even a fatal situation. But her situation is sad because she's a mother. And I think the best thing for her to do is probably reach out to some agencies and tell them her situation, tell them that she's homeless, tell them that, hey, I need aid, I need help, I need housing. I'm sure she can go to some agency in that state of California, which is a very big state, and apply for housing, HUD, to get herself somewhere to sleep with her children. Because basically she is homeless if she's sleeping in her car. Because in a minute, that car is going to be taken if it's not already. It's a rental. It's not even her own car. So this is sad to me. And I don't know how she thought she was going to be able to afford renting a car day for day. I mean, you just paid mortgage on a home with what you paid for car rentals on a $15 an hour job as an assembly worker and doing DoorDash and another courier service for food takeout. This is pretty sad. Yeah, shame on him. This is sad. Newsweek is the source for that information pertaining to Dr. Dre. I'm going to bring you my last story for the evening. I want to thank you all for joining me. Oh, wow. This is amazing. They got my name up here on the page of this article saying I'm using it now. Newsbreak, you're doing too much. Anyway, you guys, here's my next and third subject matter for the evening. 4-year-old wanders across Georgia Island after drifting there alone in boat, cops say. A 4-year-old boy, hold on one second. Oh my goodness. Now, why is this going here? Well, hold on one second. Now it's taking forever. Well, I'm updating another phone, so now it wants to do all this while I'm going live. Oh, goodness. Jeez. Wait one second, you guys. I'm not believing this. One second. I picked the wrong device to go on, read my content on. Now it's making me sign in to do everything. Hope you all are well out there. Thanks for joining me. Hold on one second. Oh, mercy. I knew this was going to happen. Everything is... One second, guys. Oh, Lordy. Sorry about that. Stuff coming up on my screen. Okay. Hold on one second. This Google stuff, man, this thing is just really acting stupid today. It's a new device and it's got me doing all type of crazy stuff on another device. Hold on. All this just to read an article. Okay. Hold on one second. Yes, thank you all for joining me. Yes, $500 million. Well, I don't know how much he gave her 18 months ago. Let's say that. This article does state that she got help 18 months ago, so I don't know what the amount is, but I think it's sad that she has to go through his team whoever that is, which is probably a lawyer, to contact her father. So that means she doesn't even probably have a phone number for her own father. And I think that's sad if you have to go and talk to another entity because you can't reach your own parent. Pretty bad. Thank you all so much. One second, please. It's taking its time. The app is open so I can get the article out. What'd you say, Air Force? AK said she heard he wasn't a good guy. Well, I mean, if you watch that movie about Michelle's life with he and Suge Knight, I was stunned. When I watched that movie, I was stunned to know that he treated her the way he did. He beat that girl. I was just like, what in the world is going on? When a person becomes rich with millions or billions, money will become the root of evil, even towards your own flesh and blood. Yeah. Well, my understanding is that Dr. Dre was mean to that girl, Michelle, for just up and coming raps. And they were just already put on the rap. So he wasn't special back then. With her, he was a regular guy. Nothing great about him. So he was abusive before he even became Dr. Dre. That's just that. Thank you all so much for joining me. 18 viewing. Okay, hold on one second. I'm waiting for this thing to load. They have 1,000 devices just to open up article. It's circling. Thank you all so much. Yeah, I never knew that. I didn't even know that they dated or had children. I didn't know that. So I up with all these people's personal lives. And, naturally back in those days in the 90s, we didn't even have social media. So all I had was Entertainment Tonight and I guess a few of those rap. What we're doing, musicians, I get it off of what? The news, radio, tabloid, ad, or People magazine, or Entertainment Tonight. That's not what the famous was doing. Yes, I heard that. But he denies all those allegations that she brought forth against him and the movie. He denies that because that was stated in the movie. He denies ever putting his hands on her, which I think is so childish and immature and ignorant because you have a child with her. So why not just tell the truth? I beat your mother. Who's gonna lie about that? I don't want to lie about being beat up, verbally abused. But then that time she with Suge Knight after the fact, she was in the house and the power was off or something. Or no, that time she didn't have food and Suge Knight came over to bring groceries. This is when Dr. Dre was on the road or something. I thought that was jacked up. And I guess that's how she and Suge ended up hooking up because he was a savior while Dre was gone and naturally sleeping with everything going on in the world. He was sleeping with everything with a pulse, like a lot of men do. It's pretty sad. Pretty sad. Thank you all. Okay, let me go back now, try to pull my article up. This is, I don't know why it made me sign in. It's just crazy. Yes, thank you all for joining me. Thank you, thank you. Okay, here it is now. Let's see. It's got 1,000. Oh, I hate these apps. They do their own thing. Hold on. I don't know why this article does not want to load for some reason. It's weird. Okay, I'm going to try to read this if I can. Okay. Thank you all. Thank you for your patience. Another device I got, so it's acting peculiar for some reason. Still not doing. I don't understand why it's not loading. Hold on 1 second. Okay, here we go. 4-year-old wanders across Georgia Island after drifting there alone in boat, cops say. Herald Leader is the source. Lexington Herald Leader. A 4-year-old boy went on a terrifying adventure Wednesday when he was left alone in a boat that drifted several hundred yards to an island along the Georgia coast, according to rescuers. Once there, he actually got out of the boat and went hiking through the marsh grass. The Chatham County Police Department's Marine Patrol reported in a Facebook post. The identity of the boy has not been released, but he was found during an air and sea search and returned unharmed to his family, officials said. It happened around 3:50 p.m. Wednesday during a family outing near Wausau National Wildlife Refuge, southeast of Savannah, officials said. The area is home to alligators and venomous snakes, but the boy managed to avoid both. A family put their child in a boat wearing a life jacket while they packed the boat after their outing. The boat drifted off with the child alone inside, police officials said. The boat drifted 200, 300 yards and was found on the northwest side of Wausau, but the child was not inside the boat. A county helicopter was called in to help, and the boy was spotted around about 4:40 p.m. walking through the marsh grass on the northwest side of Wausau, officials said. The Chatham County helicopter landed near the child, and the crew took him to an awaiting Marine Patrol vessel. Marine Patrol then quickly reunited the child with his family. The department has been lauded on social media for its quick action in finding the boy, including a post from a woman identifying herself as a relative of the child. This was an absolute terrifying experience, she wrote. I would like to thank everyone who helped locate him. There are no words to express my gratitude. And inside the article, you will see the helicopter and one of the Marine patrols near the marsh and the water. Okay. That's really the sad information pertaining to this story. So the child drifted to a small island on the west side of can't see this thing. Not too far, it says, from the Wausau Island. And they're saying that the family put him in a boat wearing a life jacket while they packed the boat after their outing. If you need verification for the story, the Lexington Herald Leader is the source. I'm going to give you my commentary because you know I'm not going to be nice with what I have to say. So, you know, I don't sugarcoat anything over here. First of all, what the hell were you all thinking to put the boy in the boat first and not make sure that the damn boat was secure while you're loading the boat up? See, this is stupid. The child should have been on dry land sitting with an adult while whomever packed the boat. I do not know how many people were on this boat, how many people were on this trip. But if there's more than 3 people on the trip, then one person should have been watching the child and the others packed the boat, and then the remaining person with the child gets onto the boat with the child, such as handing the child into the boat first, and then they step their tail in the boat after the baby. You see, this is why certain things don't need to go on around kids, such as boats, such as water, such as high buildings, high rises, balloon rides, helicopter rides, plane rides, anything deemed dangerous. And I understand there's going to come a time when people want to travel with their children, but this to me made no sense. Because you have to ask yourself, how big is this area of water are we speaking of? How deep is it? How far is it from one side of the island to the other? How big was the boat that floated across the water? You see, all those things matter? What if the child had decided he wanted to jump out the damn boat? Now your baby is in sinking water, and now you got to wait for him to float back up. This is ridiculous. And I know there's going to be somebody out there that will argue with me about, well, they thought it was okay. Well, guess what? He wasn't, because the boat floated, and luckily it floated somewhere where it got up on near the marsh and stopped. What if the boat had floated in another direction and kept on going? What if there was a high tide or shaky water, rough waters? The boat rocked. So you don't know. He's fortunate. This is the God honest truth. Because once he got in that boat alone, he was on his own. So it didn't matter how deep the water is. You can drown in 3 feet of water. That's been said statistically. So guess what? Imagine 30, 40 feet of water, 50, 60 feet, because we don't even know how deep the water is. And like I said, it's water. It doesn't even matter how deep it is. The fact is, a child was on a boat. It drifted off. Fortunately, it stopped. And this child, so grown, he climbed himself out the boat. That should tell you something, how crazy this story is. So I asked myself, could we be talking about a deliberate situation? Somebody's responded to my comment on the news break, because I saw the notification come on just here a minute ago. I can only imagine what they have to say to me. And I did make a comment of saying, what if it was done deliberately? Who knows? Which is true. I don't know these people. I don't know anything about them. I don't know them. But I know you don't put a child in a boat first. And you don't even have the damn boat secure. So you mean to tell me you would load your child on a boat first and let the child sit on the damn boat by him or herself while you and Pookie and Ray Ray load the boat up with your good baskets of cheese and wine and hot dogs? Come on now. This is ignorant. And I'm thinking, just like the hot car syndrome that's been going on the past couple of years, all these random people leaving their children in hot cars. Who's to say they didn't do it deliberately? Because you can't make me believe you forgot about your child in a car. I can see you forgetting to pick up your child from school. I can see that quicker than I can you left the child in the car. Because you're in the car with the kid. School, okay, we're running errands, we're running late, we got a lot to do, we got to pick up this, go over here, drop this down, pick up this person, took a nap, overslept. Do you understand what I'm saying? Totally different than actually being in a car with your child, a small child, an infant, a toddler. How could you not see your own child in a damn car, SUV? It's all the same. No, you deliberately left your damn child in the car. Only way I can see a person jumping out of their car is if maybe they pulled up in the driveway and their damn house was on fire. And they stepped out in awe, in amazement, shock. Oh, my house is on fire. Did you get my drift? But I brought you that information about a young lady the other day here in Knoxville who left her child in a hot car 2 years ago. And she took one child to school, but she left that child back. I don't see how possible. I think she deliberately left the baby in the back seat. She was going through some postpartum depression, allegedly. She had issues with the baby daddy. She had threatened to kill herself and kill the child in text messages. And those are the said information that she doesn't want released to the public, those text messages. But 9 times out of 10, they will be released. And obviously, there's some issues with the photographs of the child on the autopsy table, which I don't see the point in showing those pictures. But I do think people want to see the child after death, because why not? It's a crime. And if you're charging her with murder, then naturally you're going to show death photos. Those alligator, well, honey, that's the whole point. As I say, I don't know the size of the boat, but I'm thinking to myself, the boat couldn't have been that big because the boy walked out of the boat or climbed out of the boat. So that means they were in a TikTok boat, I'm assuming. Because you can't make me believe a 4-year-old would climb out of a big boat, a yacht. It's crazy. This story's crazy to me. Okay. came up in my nation this evening. I thought, yeah, I'll share this with the chat. With all this foolishness going on, Derek Chauvin trial, it's over, of course, and news outlets want the names of the jurors released for those coming in on the chat late. And you know me, I gave my opinion, of course. I think they should just leave it alone. If people don't want their names released, don't release it. The next story I brought you is pertaining to Dr. Dre not helping his daughter of 38 years, and she has 4 children. She hasn't seen her father 18 years. Last time she received 18 months ago, and she has to go through his team to reach him, which I think is foul. You either want to be in her life and the kid's life, or you don't. I've got to go through a second party to talk to you. I don't want to talk to you. I wouldn't even waste my breath, frankly. I think she just needs to do what everybody else has done, and that is make a way for her kids. This is why you don't have children back to back, one after the other, when you can't afford to take care of them. Yeah, I'm going to say that because it needs to be said. This is a hard life. And if you don't have friends, family to help you, you're in bad shape. And it doesn't matter if you're single or you got 1 kid, 5 kids, it's all the same. And all in all, you can't depend on your family to raise your children. That's just the way it is. Some of you are afforded the opportunity to have good family who are supportive. But you have to know there's going to come a time when your family cannot carry the burden of taking care of you and your kids. They can't always be a babysitter. They can't always be a banking system, ATM. They can't always let you stay in their house, drive their car, keep their car, have their things. And some people don't seem to understand. Your parents are not obligated to you. Yes, they should be able to aid you and help you, but they should set you up to where you know the value of a dollar, how to save your money, operate a checkbook, savings account, know how to live within the means that you've been afforded, teach you the value of work, the value of being sustainable. You don't teach your kids that, they will always depend on you, and they will always depend on others, and then they will become the worst type of human being. They will become users, and they will become grand manipulators, because then they'll realize, well, I've got Pookie over here, I got Shamiko over here, I got Susie May over here. I can depend on her. She'll come through because she always has. He'll come through because he always has. But you can't depend on people, because people do get sick. People do die. Or while they're living, they get just tired of you being in their pocketbook, and they cut your ass off. And some people have to learn the hard way. They have no money in their bank account. They have no good credit because they've aided their way with family and children to where now they're broke. And as I say, to each his own. You live your life the way you see fit. You like giving your family and friends money every day, that is your choice. And as I stated, I do not know the dynamics of Dr. Dre and this older child, but I do think it's sad that there was no trust fund set up for her, because I think that had he set up a trust fund for her and her other siblings, perhaps this would be a better situation with these said children. And like I said, I don't know the dynamics with her own mother, what type of relationship she has with her mother, if her mother's in her life, why Dr. Dre was out of her life when she was about 19, 20 years of age, because she's now 38. So we have to ask ourselves, where was he when she turned 18, 19? Where was he? Why didn't he set up a trust fund for her? You got 8 kids. You should have a trust fund for all your children. That way, when they become an adult, they can take the money and do what they want with it. And then you can say, hey, this is all I got, or this is all I'm going to give you. After you spend all this money, you're on your own. Don't come back asking me for nothing. You do have parents like that. They give you a trust fund. They give an age when the children can start getting partial funds and or all of it. And then if it's all gone, then it's all gone. But this is just, the world that we live in. And then we have this story here. Young boy drifting in a boat on an island in Georgia, alone, probably scared to death. But he had the fortitude, the common sense to get out that boat once it stopped. He crawled himself out that boat and went into the marsh. And luckily, he didn't get hurt, because he could have injured himself climbing out of the boat. He could have been eaten by an alligator, a wildlife animal. And all this mess about, oh, we're so glad to get him back. And, oh, thank you for all of you that helped. Yeah, they had to get an air team and a boat to get your child. So really, I'm questioning the parents, the relatives of whoever had him, who had him on a boat. Why the hell would you put a baby boy on a boat by himself to pack the boat down? You should have packed the boat first. 1, 2 people load the boat. One person watches the child, and when everything was on the boat, one of you hand the child to an adult in the boat, and then you step in the boat after handing the child into the boat. That's common sense. 28 viewing. Not many today, but that's fine. I want to thank you all for joining. I'm not going to hold you. I'm going to get you something to eat. But I want to thank you all for watching the content, following, liking, sharing, subscribing. Thank you so very much. As most of you know, I cover many cases and breaking news, various topics on here. There's one topic I might come tonight because I kind of want to lean off the Summer Wells case and talk about other topics. And rarely have I talked about a hypothetical situation on the lives. Lately, everything's been pertaining to the missing child here in East Tennessee. But tonight I might go live on a subject matter that was mentioned to me by a male. He was fussing and cussing at his children last night about some dusty video game. And I got to get the gist of it and get the info on it before I go live and talk about all that the game entails. But I think it would be a very interesting topic because it's a subject matter I've never heard of pertaining to a video game. And I thought when he was talking about it, I didn't know he was talking about a video game. I thought he was just talking about something some kids were doing. I didn't know it was actually a video game. So I may bring that topic tonight. But I thank you all for joining me. If you want to donate to the channel, $ Big Angie 129 Cash App. All super chats are welcome during the live. Thank you, Air Force, for that. Thank you also, Mr. John, for following in the chat. Thank you so much. And I want to thank all of you for joining me. And prayers to my mods, and because everybody's got a little something going on with them personally. So I want you all to pray for our mod Crystal Moore, and pray for Miss Nancy, and pray for the Queen too, because the Queen is in transition right now and trying to do some things, and just trying to do things better for myself, my livelihood, my health, my peace of mind. Because my thing is, without a peace of mind, without feeling whole, you have nothing. It doesn't matter if you got 5 shoes, 12 shoes, money in the bank, nice jewelry, nice clothes, nice car. Those things don't matter if you don't feel good and you don't like the environment you're in, or you're not being treated well. You have to clean house and do what's best for yourself. That's okay. I'll be back a little later, baby. I want to thank you all for joining me. Please catch my live earlier pertaining to Summer Wells. I brought you the 411, the 211, the best I could pertaining to the missing link. As I stated, the boys are the missing link in this story pertaining to Summer Wells, because those are the ones we have not heard from. And I do believe they can give us more insight on their life with their parents. They can give us insight on what took place that evening, if indeed they were home. They are the ones who can verify if Summer Wells entered into that house on June 15th. And they also can tell us if she went down to the basement and what transpired thereafter, and when the initial phone call was made to 911 by Candace Bly Wells. Thank you all for joining me. This is Everyday Shenanigans.